Hi there, welcome to our latest bonus chat. This was recorded as part of our France v Ireland Rep Pod. If you missed that, be sure to check it out on Apple, Spotify, and all the other usual places. Well, I suppose one good thing about that Thursday evening kickoff, if there was a good thing, was that it has given us all a few days with other rugby matches elsewhere to focus on. And we'd like to harp on four of them, two involving Irish teams and two involving the remaining nations the senior teams still have to face in the Six Nations. Sadly, with the exception of some late drama in Rome, there wasn't a whole lot to chat about, but we'll go through them nonetheless in chronological order, Mark, starting with the Ireland 15 team that fell to England on Friday evening in Limerick.
Yeah, I'm sure we want to chat about this just as much as we want to chat about Thursday night, to be honest with you. Um, Listen, at 50 burger for England, nothing that they didn't deserve. They were a better team. The one thing that really frustrated me is looking at some players. I don't want to ever body shame anybody, but the body shape of some players, you kind of look at it and go, the England team look like they spend their time in the gym. Um, Productively, and a couple of Irish players seemed a bit small and a bit unable for the physical contact that England brought to the game, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I mean, the impression I got from it wasn't even the size of the players; it was just the attitude of them. I got the impression that the England players all knew that if they put in a strong display, they had an opportunity of moving up. They all played like players who feel they could be playing Scotland. Do you know what I mean? They'd
Yeah.
have a chance if there was an injury or something. The Irish team, on the other hand, they just seemed like they were almost kind of thrown together. There was a lot of players there who had a good opportunity to show what they could do, but when they just went up against the English, you just had this more cohesive kind of attitude about them, and the individuals looking to impress and stuff. It just the result says it all, I suppose.
They've got their own separate coaching team there, that England A team. That's the third game they've had now as an England A side. Not all the same players, but roughly the same group of players as such. And definitely had a more cohesive just build in general about them from minute one to minute 80. Um, you were hoping Ireland would do something, but you expected England to do something, and I think that's how this game should be looked at.
Yeah, I mean it was, and like you look from the out half position, it was fine. It was an opportunity for Kieran Frawley to have a run in the number 10 jersey. On our main pod, we talked about Harry Byrne, how he could possibly be in the senior setup. You could argue that maybe in Irish rugby, he could be the biggest winner from these two games because he kind of fell between two stools. He was between the two teams. He didn't play in either game. But how do you think Frawley did on the night?
I think Kieran did okay. Again, you're not going to dictate how a team plays or how an attack is going to be shaped when your pack are just getting, I don't want to say bullied, but they were literally just being moved around by the England did at will. They had a very strong scrum. Ireland's scrum was not there, and their line out certainly struggled as well. So I think Kieran Frawley never looked comfortable, is how we would determine that game on Friday night.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it was frustrating. All right. Okay, so let's move on then into the Six Nations proper, and of course, it was a very rainy day in Rome. On at 2 o'clock on Saturday, and we had Italy just basically holding on right at the end to beat Scotland.
I thought they deserved their win. I think 18-15. I think this final score flatters Scotland a lot there. I thought Italy were much the better team, handled conditions, kicked better, certainly for the first 50 or sorry 75 minutes or so. Last 5 minutes, Scotland actually woke up and realised they were in the game. And they could have snuck it at the end, but it would have been an absolute injustice if Italy had lost that match.
And you pointed out, I think, in our WhatsApp group that I mean, you were talking about Ireland having been up against like Moafana and Deporter in the French centres, and now we're going to be up against Menincello and Brex, and they could be just as dangerous.
Brexit cello. I think. Listen, look at them play in their club rugby. They're great. They seem to grow every time they put on a talent jersey. They seem to grow 10%. I think they're a cracking combination. I think we could be up against it on Saturday. The lads, whoever Ireland have in midfield, are up for a very tough game. I thought Garbisi played quite well. he can be hit and miss. When he's really good, he's really good. When he's off it, I hope he's off it on Saturday, because that will give us a better chance, obviously, of performing well. But if he just lets his centers do their business, I think we could be up against it.
Yeah, I mean, I think when we talk about judging the Irish team, we talked in the main pod about Ireland's performance. A lot of it had to do with how well France are playing. So I suppose we can't really make a real judgment until we see how we line out at home against Italy next weekend. So hopefully we'll see some a better performance there, and might get a better sense where the team is at. But let's move on again to Twickenham. No surprises there in the scoreline. I mean, you look at 48-7, you go, that's quite a walloping. But I mean, the way the tries were raining in the first 20 odd minutes, it could have been more.
It certainly could have been more. I think the first 20 minutes, England kicked a lot, but kicked intelligently, made Wales play from bad positions that they're not used to. I thought George Ford had an excellent game for England. He's not the most exciting fly half in the world, but listen, he put them in the right positions, put lots of pressure on the Welsh team, and the discipline of the Welsh players was pretty poor, as it has been for the last, well, whenever. But there were so many yellow cards for Wales in the start, and there I think they were down to 13 at one stage, and England could have done a lot more damage than what they did. They'll probably be disappointed with 20 minutes of the start of the second half. But listen, you're never going to dominate a game for the full 80 minutes, but for 60 of those 80 minutes, there was only one team in this game.
Absolutely, and of course we have England in our third game, and this year there's no rest week between the second and third week, so we're gonna have to think of a lot of our selections over the next couple of weeks.
Let's
Okay,
hope
so
let's hope we
yeah.
don't get any more injuries.
Oh, geez, we can't really afford that at all, can we? Okay, well
Not
let's
really.
let's move on. Let's move on to the Wolf Puppies, as they're called, or as some people call them, the under 20s. Now, of course, we had some great years, Grand Slams and championships, and some great teams, and things went in completely the other direction last year. We picked up a wooden spoon, but it's different crop every year. They started. Of course, it was a difficult. It's always a difficult, especially in under 20s levels as well, because the players France produce. So it was always going to be a difficult task there. It didn't go as it was still it's not a great score line there, as we can see, but it wasn't all bad, I suppose, is what you can say.
Listen, if there was one thing that had a little bit of a spark of uh, enjoyment to the weekend, it was this game for me. Uh, Conceding 50 points again is never good, but listen, France have, they might not be older than us, or they are bigger than us at 20s, but the experience level of some of these players, you've got guys who have captained at Champions Cup level against some guys who are still academy players who haven't had a fear of getting near a URC game, never mind a Champions Cup game. I thought Ireland really, really, I don't want to be really, don't want to be patronising by saying this. I thought we tried well. I thought they played some really, really good stuff. And it wasn't the worst way to finish the weekend. The scoreline might tell a different story, but I thought three or four of those Irish players put their hands up for future recognition in a big way, actually. I thought the captain was great at tight head. I thought the six played really well. I thought O'Connell at eight played well. Tom Wood, I thought again had a fine game at fly half, and his partner, his Munster partner at nine, played really well too. So there was a lot. There was actually a lot to like about that game. France just have three or four guys that could probably slot into their first 15 with their seniors, which is quite a scary prospect.
Yeah, absolutely. I suppose we're reaching for positives in Irish rugby at the moment, but like you say, especially compared to the way the under 20s went last season, there were, if you watch this 80 minutes, there were positives. Obviously, the French, a lot of class there, and like you say, they've experience in top 14 levels, which is something that we don't do at that. We tend to nurture the under 20s and put them in these representative teams, and keep them from the top level. And but plus, there's only four provinces to play play them in as well. So so there's that. But so there's not always the opportunities, but still, it is a good experience for them, and we'll see how they bring it through the tournament. So listen, that's great there. Okay, so listen, great. That's Mark. That's great, Mark. Thanks very much for that. And if you, the viewer, have any thoughts on those matches, or indeed anything else you'd like us to harp on in future, please leave your comments below. And sure, while you're at it, be sure to like, share, and subscribe as well.